And so when we did a little process on the heart, and it was fascinating because it was the only time where she actually tuned into herself. She saw her heart, what it looked like, and she went, you know what, her heart looked very tight, and she relaxed, and she started to recognize her value, and she really said to me, I'm valuable. And people didn't treat her very well. And once she recognized it, the heart problem disappeared. She didn't need a pacemaker. And when she went to work, all of a sudden there was a change. She didn't say anything, she didn't do anything, but there was a change. People started treating her differently. She said that she'd been working this place for 20 years. The first time in 20 years, it was her birthday. All of a sudden, all these people brought cake. First time in 20 years. They brought her, you know, this one woman brought her a pin with an angel. Another person brought her another present. It was like they started telling her how valuable she was. They started to really honor her. It was really amazing. You know, she also had a hip problem. And she couldn't fall asleep because it was so painful. Once this value started to happen, once she started to recognize who she was, and she started to connect to her wisdom, started to communicate with her body, it went. And she's in her 50s. You know, I've had so many amazing experiences. Actually, Lisa is sitting here in the audience, and she doesn't want me to embarrass her, but hey, the secret of life is being embarrassed and enjoying it. So her son was a very inspirational, is I should say, a very inspirational boy, and she brought him to me 3 years ago. And Sebastian was diagnosed with juvenile arthritis, where he had already had surgery. They had gone to see lots of different practitioners, and he wasn't getting better. And actually, there were times where he couldn't walk, he had crutches, and he really, really wanted to be a professional golfer. This is like his dream, which is a bit difficult to do when you have difficulty walking, you know. And when Lisa brought Sebastian, I saw his knee was so blown up, and also his foot, that I had a bit of a shock, and he was in a lot of pain. And I thought, okay, this 12-year-old boy, what do I do with him? And I went, I have to teach him how to heal himself. This is really important, because I believe that he could. And because I believed that he could, and since children do have a value on themselves, and he didn't know that he couldn't. All he knew was that somebody said that he can heal himself, so why not? And I started teaching him using very simple processes, because I believe it has to be simple, how to heal himself, using every aspect, you know, from what he could do with visualizing, with feeling, with vibration, with energy. And Lisa herself has said to me, it was like overnight his pain had gone. And then it took I think a couple of months for his knee to go down, for him to run, walk, do anything. Now he's won so many trophies, and it's so inspiring. And what he does is that once he's learned this, he uses this process 5-10 minutes every day. And he hasn't, since we did it, he's not had pain. And if he's had, I think one time somebody hit him or something, and within a few minutes he was able to release it. Now, why do we need to suffer if we can learn how to heal ourselves? Why do we need to suffer if we can experience this amazing love? When we can learn how to let go of things that do not serve us. All you have to do is value yourself enough and make a commitment to learn it. And again, you know, I'm teaching a workshop on the 24th and 25th of May, and people say to me, yeah, but you know, it's 2 days, it's expensive or whatever, and it's like, you don't know how much money you save by actually doing it. Because if you learn how to do it yourself, you are your own doctor. Which means that you don't have to be in a position to be seeing, to get to a point where you get sick or seeing other people. You know, you have your intuition. I teach all over the world, and I'm going to France soon. And actually, the woman who's promoting me there, her daughter had such a bad knee. She said to me I think it was a year ago, she said, she's got to have an operation. It's so bad. I tune into it and I go to her. She doesn't need an operation. If she has an operation, do you know what's going to happen? She's going to keep having it again and again and again. Because that's not the problem. The problem is that there's emotions, there's vibration, there's thought patterns, there's energy that is stored in her body that needs to come out. She doesn't need to have surgery. And I said to her, organize it, let me do healing with her. But my healings are not waving my hands. I really get people to participate. So I said that, and we did a healing, and she realized that this was emotional. She released the emotion. The next day she had no pain. It's been a year, she's had no surgery, there's hardly been any pain. And it's like, well, if we have this ability inside ourselves, why not use this? I don't know how to live without it now. Not just because of being able to release pain, but the depth, the wisdom that comes, the intuition is so beautiful and so amazing to live life in an extraordinary way. And every person here has that ability. Every person here can do that. So let's say, with all our strengths now, with all your belief, I am valuable. And I'd just like you to breathe that value in. I believe that we are in a new stage of consciousness in terms of teaching. This is, and learning. The learning now has to come from, it's like from this book or from what Bernie Segal says, as a guidance from other people and then from yourself. When I teach people, I'm always talking about, I'm your guide. But the real wisdom, the depth is inside of you. And when you start to realize there's no rules, I don't like rules. I believe that it limits us to have rules. What it is, well, obviously, except the rules for crossing the road or driving, that helps. But rules in terms of this is how it has to be. All the rules can be broken because anything is possible. And how inspiring is it to go, anything is possible rather than we are limited and this is not possible. Even that vibration, and it's not just possible for Ina who's standing up here, but for you who's sitting there. That it's possible, doesn't matter how old you are, that it's possible. Whether it's a 12-year-old boy or my children, I have two children, who's my daughter, she's 4.5, and my son who's 7. And I remember even when my son was a year and a half, and I said to him, okay, lie down, I'm going to give you healing. And as I was doing, he said, no, Mommy, I give you healing now. And then in terms of children are so beautiful in how they learn because they really value. And there was another time where I was teaching them about colors because colors are so important. When we start to connect to colors, like pink, for example, it lifts you. We know that it's connected with the heart. It opens our heart. Blue makes us feel more peaceful. Green, healing. Red, energy, vibration, and really good for releasing pain from the body. Gold, abundance. So I was teaching my children about this, and it was so funny. After teaching them the next day, Angelina, my daughter, who was about 3 at the time, came back from school, and she said, from kindergarten, and she said, I'm not happy. I'm very upset, I'm very angry. And my son Raphael, he said, Angelina, quick, you've got to look at pink so that you feel happy again. And she said, but I'm wearing pink. And I said, quick, look at pink. You're going to feel better. And so she looked at pink and she goes, okay, I feel better. And she smiled and I said, it would help if you smile. You have to smile. So, you know, it's amazing. And even with Raphael, he had a headache one day. He was 6 years old. I said, okay, I need you to relax, visualize some blue. He did it within 2 minutes. This child didn't have a headache. You know, it's amazing when you can use simplicity for healing. So I'd like to do a simple healing process with you. And this is on page 19 of this book that I'm going to get to. And one of the things that I decided to do in the book was to, before people started seeing the guidance, you know, because what I've done is I wrote about each organ that's in your body and what emotions, thoughts, energies, actions can be stuck there to create pain and suffering that need to be released. And then I wrote a process to help you to release that for each organ, because I figured even if you're sick or if there's something's not going well, it's going to be stored in some part of your body. So we need to understand what's stored, so we need to have the wisdom, and then we need something to actually release this. And I realized that just saying one word or an affirmation wasn't quite enough. We needed to go a little bit deeper. And then I wrote about diseases and stuff, and then I thought, well, it's really important to also, even if you're sick or we have some sort of a disease or disorder that people talk about, then we can still, it's still in a part of your body. And often it is connected to emotions. So then I put in a section about emotions and understanding emotions. Where do they come from? How do they get created? Which parts of our bodies does it affect? And then how do we heal? How do we actually release these emotions within minutes so that we can start to experience more peace, more joy, more love, which is a much more pleasant state to be in, and a state for healing. You know, when you're really tense, and I say to people often, what is the state for healing that's required? It's not this. Because if you're in this state of healing, which is tense and hard, it doesn't happen. The best state for healing is softness and gentleness and relaxation. So, then the last thing, then I put in about colours because I felt like colour healing was so important. And then I put a section of understanding the systems of our body, because it's very important to understand the lessons each system has and how everything is connected. And you have the most amazing instrument, which is your body. It contains the most incredible wisdom. All you need to do is start to tune into it. Start to recognize it. Start to value it. So I'd like you to close your eyes and relax. And just taking a really deep breath in and relaxing. And if you've crossed your legs, just uncross them. And I'd like you to really put your attention inside your body. This amazing instrument that you have. And I'm going to do the process with you that I did myself. And again, why I put this process in here is because even though you have this guidance in the book, you also need your own divine guidance. You need to listen to your own self. And it's not about me putting every single thing in the book, because that would be a heavy book. It's about giving you guidelines and then also helping you to connect so that you can do this yourself. It's great if I know it, but it's even better if all of us know this.